In the Injustice universe, Superman kills a lot of people, and I do mean a lot. And while I could just list every one of his murders, well, others on YouTube have already done that. So instead, I'm going to go over the 5 most impressive and important murders he commits in Injustice. Though this video is only focusing on the Superman kills, and only the ones in the Injustice universe, meaning the 2 Injustice video games that have come out so far, and the tie-in comic book series. And with that said, let's get to it. Number 5. Parademons. Early on in the Injustice timeline, Darkseid once again sets his sights on Earth, and he sends an invasion force of countless parademons to attack Earth in several different locations, in order to maximise damage. Now, at this point in the Injustice universe timeline, Superman is still very much a hero, and he hasn't completely fallen from grace. He has killed, yes, but he's still on the fence about whether killing is the best way to dispose of villains. But with that being said, Superman is warming up to the idea of killing his enemies, as he thinks it may be a more efficient way of fighting crime and protecting others. Now, in the past when Darkseid has attacked, the Parademons have killed countless people and caused absolutely colossal damage to the Earth. So this time, Superman decides not to fight them in real time with other heroes, but instead to use his super speed to kill every single parademon in an instant, before they're able to hurt a single human being. Now, he talks this idea through with the Flash, as the Flash is the only other being he can converse with in this ultimate speed. Basically, the two of them talk super fast, so that seconds seem like minutes, if not hours. And the Flash is against it, but Superman decides that he'll save more human lives this way, and so in only a few seconds, he wipes out the entire Parademon army, and he also kills Darkseid's son and heir, Caliban. Now, to be fair, this isn't really a bad thing. After all, Superman has saved thousands and thousands of lives. But the problem is that Superman now sees that he has saved so many lives, and he decides that killing isn't always a bad thing. And this is a crucial tipping point of Superman becoming evil, because it's when he actually learned that killing is the best solution. Now, it isn't always the best solution. Yes, in this particular case there's an invading army, parademons can't be reasoned with, and Darkseid can't be negotiated with. So yes, killing them all was, really, the best thing he could do. But just because it's right here doesn't mean it normally is. This was war, and sadly in war a lot of people have to die for there to be a winner. And Superman should know this and realise that this was just a one-off. But instead, his takeaway from it all is that he should just kill whoever he thinks deserves to die, because if he thinks they're a villain, then them dying is clearly right. And that's the problem with superheroes. They see the world as so black and white, when really there's a lot of grey in there. And it also doesn't help that the entire Earth is rejoicing at what Superman has done, not realising that they're actually helping to create a monster. Not until it's too late anyway. Number 4. Mogo. Now, killing a planet is a pretty badass statement to make to the galaxy, especially since Mogo is the most powerful Green Lantern there is, and one of the most powerful beings in the DC universe. And one of the reasons that Mogo is so hard to kill is simply because of the fact that he is a planet. I mean, seriously, how do you destroy a planet? It takes an insane level of power, as killing a planet is pretty difficult to do at any time, let alone if the planet is a sentient being and has godlike power. And ordinarily, even Superman would have had a hard time doing this, but his power was bolstered by a Sinestro Corps lantern ring. But let me back up for a second. In this part of the Injustice timeline, the Green Lantern Corps has found out that Superman is essentially becoming a dictator of the Earth, and they have come to take him away for judgment. And when I say the Green Lantern Corps, I mean nearly every single member of the Green Lantern Corps, and the living planet Mogo, the most powerful of the Green Lantern Corps, and one of their guardians as well, making it one of the deadliest armies that has ever been assembled in the history of the universe. Now, Superman has sided with Sinestro, or rather Sinestro has come to Superman and offered his aid, and so Superman has the Sinestro Corps defending him. But even with them, the Green Lantern Corps are gaining ground, and Superman himself is occupied on Earth, being beaten up by Black Canary, who has had her strength augmented by superpower pills. And Black Canary also uses her meta-powered scream and a kryptonite bullet to Superman's chest, which weakens him and pretty much defeats him. And the Green Lanterns are actually coming down to take Superman away, when a Sinestro Lantern Corps ring lands on Superman's fingers. And Superman uses it to remove the kryptonite bullet from his chest and to protect himself from the kryptonite radiation. And then he kills Black Canary. A murder which is actually being televised worldwide, which means the whole world sees Superman murder a hero while wearing a ring that is powered by fear. So all this fear boosts his power, and he's able to grab one of the Guardians of Oa, who have powers pretty much on par with Superman on a good day, and then Superman flies that Guardian into Mogo's surface, and then he pushes both the Guardian and the planet into the sun, killing them both. And this kill is what ends the threat of the Green Lantern invasion, as they then retreat, which, considering what just happened, is definitely the smart thing to do in this situation. And it's an important moment for Superman, as this is the first time that the entire world has actually seen him kill someone, and he is literally fighting alongside supervillains like Sinestro and the murderers that are in his Sinestro Lantern Corps. Now, a lot of people and a lot of heroes still think Superman's actions were justified. After all they see is Superman stopping an invasion. But many of them have seeds of doubt planted inside them on this day, especially when he becomes a member of the Sinestro Corps, because this shows everyone his true colours, if you'll forgive the pun. And a hero should never wear a Sinestro Lantern Corps ring, with the possible exception of Batman. Number 3, Green Arrow. Now, up until this part in Superman's timeline, he hadn't actually done anything that was too bad. Yes, he had killed, but these are all supervillains, so it's not really that bad. But Green Arrow is his friend, and he is the first superhero that he kills. And this is very much the point of no return for Superman, because up until now you could consider him an anti-hero, but this turns him into a full-on supervillain. Now, Superman is working with Lex Luthor to make a super pill that can give ordinary humans superpowers, so he can build a superhuman army. And Batman and a team break into Superman's Fortress of Solitude to get hold of one of these pills, so that they can reverse engineer them, because without them, they lack the power they need to beat Superman. But when the team breaks into the fortress, they find that Superman's parents are there, and it turns out that Superman has been keeping them there in order to keep them safe. So the team immediately decide to leave, but sadly Superman returns at that exact moment, and though most of the team does manage to get away, Green Arrow is stuck inside, with Superman. And then the two of them have a sort of fight, with both knowing that Superman can easily win. But Green Arrow fires some arrows at him anyway, which he says is to help him stay calm, when in actuality it's for a different reason. But it doesn't matter, as one of the arrows ricochets off of Superman and hits his father in the shoulder. And then Superman loses it, beating Green Arrow to death there and then, right in front of his own parents, who are desperately trying to get him to stop. And this death not only shows Superman crossing the line, it also clearly shows us what Superman's mental state is. He was scared and terrified of losing more family. He stashed them away in this isolated area to keep them safe. And to be fair, his wife and his unborn child have both been killed, and he is clearly having a psychological breakdown because of it, and he is not dealing with any of this grief in a healthy way. After all, he attacks Green Arrow without thinking, and most likely never even wanted to kill Green Arrow, but was just desperately trying to take out the threat. And this moment is the reason no one can ever really have superpowers, because we all lose our temper from time to time, but when you can punch a hole straight through the moon, well then you're no longer allowed to have tantrums. Number 2, Lex Luthor /Shazam, or Captain Marvel to those old school comic book readers out there. Now, you may wonder why I'm counting both of these deaths as one, and the reason is actually very simple. They happen back to back of each other, and are the two triggers that destroy the last remaining shreds of good in Superman. First, let's talk about Lex Luthor. In this reality, Lex Luthor is a good guy, and in fact he's Superman's best friend. Or at least he was until Superman turned evil. And since then, Lex Luthor's been working in secret with the insurgency with the goal to take down Superman. And then, when he finally decides to come out and attack Superman openly, he dons his battlesuit and tries to use a kryptonite laser to take him down. And that unfortunately pushes Superman too far, and so he destroys his battlesuit and chokes Lex Luthor to death in front of the whole world. Next we have Shazam, a hero who's actually a 10-year-old boy, who turns into the adult superhero when he says the word Shazam. Shazam also worships Superman. He pretty much always has, and he is very clearly his hero and role model, which makes it all the worse when Superman turns on him. Now, at this point in the Injustice timeline, Superman has become a supervillain and is at his most evil moment ever, as he plans to destroy several cities and kill millions to instill fear in people, to make them easier to rule and so they respect him more. And after this, he is going to invade and conquer another Earth in another dimension. So basically, Superman has completely lost it. And Shazam comes forth saying that, as this is not the right thing to do. It's insane. And he's right, as this isn't what superheroes are supposed to do. Even most supervillains wouldn't do this. And Superman's response is to grab him by the throat and then use his heat vision to melt his brain, killing him. So Superman kills a child who wants nothing more than to be a hero like Superman. And murdering Lex Luthor was Superman giving up on humanity, and killing Shazam was Superman fully embracing his evil side once and for all. It is bloody and it is brutal, and there is no defense for it, as Superman really didn't need to kill either of them at all. He could have just knocked them out and locked them up. But no, his first thought is to kill his best friend and then to kill a child. This is quite possibly the most un-Superman thing that he has ever done across the entire multiverse. And although many of us and many in the Injustice universe already knew that Superman was evil and unredeemable at this point, the heroes did not. Not all of them anyway. But now the whole Justice League knows the truth, and they can't deny it anymore. And this actually causes some members to defect from the Justice League, because there's no longer a grey area. They are not helping people in any way, they are on a team of supervillains. And in many respects, this is the moment when the Injustice Superman lost and the Injustice Batman won. Which makes these kills crucial murders in Superman's life. In fact, there is only one murder more important in the Injustice universe. And that is of course the kill that started Superman down this path of villainy in the first place. Number 1. The Joker. In the Injustice universe, the Joker has basically grown bored with messing with Batman, and decided to instead screw with Superman. And so he set up a nuclear bomb in Metropolis, and then used a kryptonite-based fear toxin to trick Superman into thinking he was fighting against Doomsday, when instead it was actually his wife, Lois Lane, whom is pregnant with his child. And of course, Doomsday can survive pretty much anything, so Superman immediately flies him into space to use his full power. But Lois Lane is of course not as tough, and the nuke's trigger is linked to her heartbeat. So when she flies into space and dies, Metropolis dies as well. And so Superman has killed the love of his life, his unborn child, along with the city that he is sworn to protect. Now, we're not going to include the death of all these people as a Superman kill, as Superman was brainwashed and not in control of his actions. So this was very much an accident, and something that Superman would never have done normally. However, Superman has no kryptonite-based fear gas in his system when he faces the Joker, just his own grief and his guilt. Now, the Joker is used to fighting Batman, who he can safely taunt without Batman killing him, for the most part anyway. But Superman is a different animal, and he has pushed him further than any other villain has ever pushed him before. And so when the Joker taunts him, Superman breaks and gives in to his grief and kills the Joker.
I know it's soon, but think you'll ever love again? Maybe you won't kill your next family.
Now, to be fair to Superman, there is not a jury in the land that would convict him for this. The Joker has just killed Superman's family, along with his home city and the millions of people that live there. So, taking that into account, Superman would never go to prison for this, and would easily get absolved of guilt in a trial with a plea of temporary insanity. But as justified as this death is, it still starts Superman down a dark path that sees him become the very evil that he is sworn to fight. And it reminds us why superheroes should never kill, because once they seem to cross that line, some of them just can't turn back. And this has to be Superman's best kill in Injustice, because without this death, the whole events of the Injustice universe would never have happened. True, Superman's family would still be dead, along with all the people in Metropolis. But if Superman had never killed the Joker, he may never have gotten a taste for it, and he may have remained a hero. Now, we'll never know for sure, of course, but I think we can all agree that if Superman hadn't killed the Joker when he did, the Injustice universe would be drastically different. and it is quite likely that none of the other kills on this list would have ever happened. Now, as I've said, there are many deaths in the Injustice universe, and we all probably have different ideas on which ones are best. So please feel free to let us know in the comments what your favourite kills are, along with what you thought about this list. And I'd just like to say a quick thank you to those who made this video possible by donating to the Needle Mouse Productions page on Patreon. And as always, thanks for watching, and feel free to subscribe, share, like, and comment.